sequence 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Sequence 3.
Do you ever think about when engineers design buildings, they usually start from underground all the way up? But how about if we do it differently this time and start building the roof first? Stories follow a sequential order in order to make the story more comprehensible. This is the usual beginning, rising action, climax, falling action, and conclusion. But there are certain literatures and authors that like to play around with this sequence. One of those authors is a guy named Bob Ong.
Wait, tingnan mo, may nakatingin sa taas, oh.
Ha, okay na, ang ganda na ng shoot natin. Nasaan?
Ayan, oh.
No, excited na kayo dyan ha. Pero diba? If you look up his name in Google, you will be presented with many of his works. But based on Goodreads, Bob Ong is a pseudonym of a Filipino contemporary author known for using controversial Filipino to create humorous and reflective depictions of life as a Filipino. He is one of the most unique and respected authors in the Philippines from his books like Aba, Nakakabasa na ba ako? And MacArthur. But with all of those great works of art, he has the book that I want to focus on is named C. The book is about the life of a man, reflects and depicts the events of Filipino faces throughout the years of his life. Literally from the day he was born until the oldest years of his life. But what's interesting is that it is written reverse chronologically. The book starts at chapter 72 and ends in chapter 0. We will focus on 3 different chapters. Those are chapter 72, chapter 12, and chapter 56. Tay, balik mo ng camera sa akin. Yeah. Dahil sa librong C, hindi lang maganda, may matututunan ka din.
Chapter 65 in the book by Bob Ong, entitled C. It highlights the history of Ozone Disco tragedy when Aling Minyang recalled what happened to her brother in the said tragedy, and how it affects her in terms of emotionally and physically. Way back in March 1996, Filipinos were shocked by the news of the Ozone Disco tragedy. It is officially acknowledged as the worst fire in the Philippines, killing 162 people and losing all properties. Discipline and ideas in social sciences has 8 categories, and history is one of them. History studies the past of humans in the world. What are the changes in their appearance, traits, and habitat throughout the time. Additionally, it aims to commemorate the past event that happened a long time ago. The chapter 65 was intended to be remembered at what happened in the Ozone Disco tragedy. In comparison, history in social science and chapter 65 is the idea of remembering or acknowledging the history. Functionalism approaches the study of how our external stimuli help us survive and thrive in our environment. The book by Bob Ong, entitled C, uses the idea of functionalism, specifically in chapter 65, wherein Aling Minyang's situation after she lost her brother in an accident. She was able to continue to survive despite having financial, emotional, and physical problems. This experience has led her to strive and keep going in life.
Next, the chapter to be discussed is chapter 12. This discusses a lot about Filipino encounters and Filipino situations here in the Philippines, taking care of a lot of diseases, mostly on police brutality and many more. Look.
At sa chapter 12, dito natin makikita ang narrative na nag-shed lights of the mistreatment of individuals by police officers and the internal conflict among Filipinos. This study explores social science disciplines and the importance of understanding the cultural frameworks. This examines the functionalism, abuse of Filipinos by police, and internal conflicts in the Philippines. The message also discusses the goals of authorities and rebels in reconstructing the country, highlighting the challenges of disunity and social consistency. Sino yun? This chapter is about social factionalism. It places importance on shared norms and values, by which society is enabled to function. Clyde!
The book checks out the idea of functionalism, illustrating the oppression of Filipino through law enforcement officers, as well as the inner disputes among Filipinos.
The reason why this book catches the attention of the readers because it's a tale that ends the story in the beginning. The way it is written makes the reader have questions like, who are they or what is happening? Because of this, it leads to the final chapter of our educational video, which is chapter 72, where it all began.
Explores family dynamics in a wide context of societal structures and cultural norms.
The concepts in this chapter are associated with many fields in social sciences. Sociology will explore family relationships, social organizations, and cultural norms as these are core to understanding social interactions and institutions. Anthropology would be interested in the cultural practices and interested in the kinship system that are shown, while psychology would explore the emotional experiences in family relationships and themes of resilience and individual growth. Political science would focus on the power, struggling, and conflicts within societies, while cultural studies and history would provide the wider context of these struggles, emphasizing the interdisciplinary nature of understanding human society and behavior.
This chapter shows the interaction of economic issues into various aspects of the characters' lives and the application of rational choice theory in different domains. Inside the family dynamics, people make decisions about resource distribution and investment in education or healthcare, considering the returns against the costs. Individual navigation of social structures through rational choices about job, education, and entrepreneurship is a manifestation of attempts to improve their socio-economic status within the prevailing hierarchies, and more.
C. Rational choice theory and functionalism are intertwined to reveal the character's behavior and the society's system. Rational choice theory presents the main character's actions within the family and social structure, for instance, in dealing with the authorities, misbehavior, or performing cultural rites. This discussion demonstrates people's rational actions aimed at getting the best results, while taking into consideration social norms, power, and religion.
There are various ways to tell a story, from stunning visuals in movies to angel-like voices in songs. But in writing, it is a little different. Making stories and making people read them is a different beast on its own. But in social sciences, it is a much bigger tree that we need to learn from. From making the right decisions to choosing the right people. Because we humanista is here to study not only the art and the crafts of stories, but as well as the lessons we can learn from them in our society. From the Librong C of Bob Ong, it's an amazing story that tells in a not the most common way literaturely, but it tells what we need to know as Filipinos in our own country. Because here in iProductions, sa Librong C, hindi lang maganda, may matututunan ka din.